Hey all, this is Coach Adam. Going to show you guys how to do some scorecards. There's a lot out there that you can find on the internet, different setups, different things that are on them. So this is just one we picked that is a little bit simpler, doesn't have quite as much going on, but it's at least helpful to know what's going on in the game. And so you'd start with something like this. I have the PDF, it's in the chat, so feel free to click on that, download it. You can even fill it out, digitally, write on it, print it out. Um, if you need some printouts, I'll bring a few. But uh, up at the top, you'll see kind of the things that are going on with the game. For the Little League, we have a couple of different other things like the field and those sorts of things. But you'd always fill out your visitor and your home. So let's say that the home team, of course, is the Orioles, and the visitor is the Padres. Now, typically, with something like this, you would have one sheet for the home team and one sheet for the visitors. And so, because you'd have your whole lineup. For you guys, feel free to use both. So we'll put a little extra here. And basically, whatever inning you're in, so go ahead and put that in here. So we'll say that we're looking at the second inning, and you can put the time, you can put the time, the the date, and then you would put your name here. So okay, now what you would do from this point is each person gets this little 3 block um, thing in here. The reason for that is because you can actually substitute into positions and things like that. And so we'll just make up some names as we go. So we'll say that um, this is A. Adams is up to bat first. And so you would give them whatever their number is, right? So let's say they're number 1 or number 10 or whatever you want their number on their shirt to be. But the position is a little bit different. So the position actually has a number that goes along with it. And so I'm going to draw this out here for just a second. So you have your base positions and you have your outfield. So the positions are all numbered. So if you are the pitcher, you are number 1. If you are the catcher, you are number 2. Then you are number 3 for first base. 4th is your second. 5th, if you are third base. 6th, if you are shortstop. And then 7, 8, and 9 out in the outfield. And then there's also, you could also have a position of DH depending on the league, which would be a designated hitter. So they may not have a field position, but they would be a designated hitter for the batting. Now, when we look at this, one of the things that we have, we'll say that this person was center field. A. Adams is center field, so position number 8. Okay, when they come up to bat, you're going to keep track of the outs and the balls. So balls go up in this one, right? These are where the balls are going, and this one right here is for the strikes. Okay, and so you can use any symbol that you want inside there. I bold for a while, so we have the X's for strikes, and then I use the slashes for spares, which are balls in this case. But it doesn't matter what you put into those. Usually people just use X's, and so they come up to bat, they swing, it's a ball, right? They go again. Oh, I'm sorry, I said they swing. If they swing, that's a strike. They throw a ball next. Okay. If they hit a foul ball, and this is some of those rules that start to come in. So if they hit a foul ball, we still count it as a strike until it's that, if it would be the 3rd strike, and then the foul balls don't count. And then if they get struck out, then we would just say that this is there's a list of abbreviations that you can put into there, but basically they have no one, so that's just an exit. Now the next person, comes up and he hits the ball and makes it to first base. So the first thing we would do is we would draw this line showing that he got to first base, and we would write 1B up in the corner. So we got one base. Okay, so that's for a single. If you have a double or a triple, there are some abbreviations that we can put in here as well. So when we put them out to the side here, and I'm going to send these separately too. So 1B is a single, 2B, double, 3B is a triple, and then HR is a home. So we'll start with those. There's a few more that we'll keep in mind here as we're going. So makes it on the first. Now you can also keep track of where the ball is going, right? And so oftentimes you might say, oh, he hit it out to 7, which would be left field, or whatever it happens to be. So you keep track of that as well. So let's see, C. Carson comes up. Okay, and C. Carson, excuse me, he hits the ball, and he also makes it onto base. So let's go back here. So he makes it to base. Now, what that does, he's still 1B. What that does is it advances Brian as well. So you have to kind of go back and say, oh, well, now he's moved on to second. Okay? And so you would keep track of that. Now, in the next play, D. Dawson comes out and he hits the ball right to the third baseman. Okay, so the third baseman tags the base, and tags third base and gets Brian out. So we'd come up here and we would draw a little line, and then a little line showing that he didn't make it to third base. Carson got on to second, and Dawson hit it, but also got out. So it was a double play. Now, double play is one of those things that you can write down, right? So we would come over here. That's a D. That is a DP is double play. Oops. Double play. And what you'll notice with the double play is we now have 1 out. Right, I'll switch to the laser so you guys can see. So we have an out here, right? We have an out here now, and we have an out here. So that is 3 outs. The inning is over. So normally you would switch to another page, but I'm just going to say take a line and draw that through there like that. Okay, just so that we know that the next team is coming up. So ZZ is first up for the other team, and he the pitcher's just having a bad night, and so he ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, and then ball 4 you get your walk, right? So how do you indicate that? And so you would still draw like you got on the first base, but it wasn't a single. It's a a base on balls, and so we put a BB right there to indicate that they got to the base on a ball. The next guy comes up. The pitcher's kind of, he's in his head. It happens. And so with that, so the pitcher comes up and he's pitching again. So this is Wai Young. I can spell. And Wai Young comes up, gets another ball. But this time the pitcher hits him, right? So, and you know that if you get hit by the ball, you get your free base. And so that's not a base on balls, that's what we call HBP, or hits by pitch. And so if you get hit by a pitch, you'll also get that. You also have to remember to go up to the one before and advance him forward one. Okay? Now, while we're sitting there, so Xander comes up, and as he's sitting there, he gets a strike. Oh, sorry, wrong one. It's a strike, right? And then the pitcher throws kind of a wild pitch. Well, when he throws the wild pitch, Zed sees his opportunity, and he runs to third. And so if he runs to third on a steal, we just put a little S next to that. Wai Young also tried to steal, but he got himself out on the steal. Okay? It's still Xander's turn, so we'll go back to Xander. Xander, let's see. I think that's going to be all the ones that we're going to oh no, we'll do a little bit more here. So Xander comes in, and he hits a double. So we're going to draw 2 lines, right? And we're going to put 2B for his double that he got. But when he gets his double, Zed gets over the line. So Zed makes it all the way home. Different people do different things. I like to color mine in when I know that it's a score so that I can see it really well. But we also want to come over and change the status on this side. So you'll see there's a column over here. So there's AB, which is at bat. And the reason we do this is we keep track of the number of the times that the person would come up to bat in a particular game. R is runs. Runs are where they actually make it on, actually score points, right? Hits are when they make it on base. So it's a little bit different than just did they hit the ball and make contact. It's did they get on base. And then RBI is a run batted in, right? And so with an RBI, that means that they were able to not just get on base. Well, actually, I guess you can have a run batted in even if they don't get on base. So they would have, but Xander here would have an RBI of 1 in this case because he helped Zed get it. To fill in this far right column for everybody else, everybody has had at least, everybody has had their 1 at bat. Okay. Runs, the only person who got a run in this case is Zed so far. So we'll put a little 1 there. Hits are if they got on base. Okay. And so in this case, Adams did not, Brian did, Carson did, Dawson did not, Zed got on base, Young was on base, and Xander was on base. Okay, and so to finish out this inning, because you still have only have one out, William Wallace comes up. He's 3 strikes and he's out. Up and down. You can also indicate there's 2 ways to do a strikeout, right? So a strikeout, there's a swinging strikeout, so meaning that you swung at that third pitch and got an out. And then there is what's called a looking strikeout, where they actually throw a strike and you did not swing at it, but they still threw a called strike. And so the difference between these two is a K. So So a swinging strikeout is a K. A looking strikeout is also a K, but it is backwards. And so William Wallace here, because he was a swinging, he just swung at all 3. He gets a K for his description of how it was done. Now, and then we'll throw in one more. Uganda, right? He also strikes out, but he is not swinging. So he gets his little K going backwards. Okay? And so that's the end of the inning because there's all outs at this point. Now these William Wallace and Uganda both have their at bats, but no RBIs, no runs. Okay. Now you can also, because let's make it more complicated, I would start here. But as you develop over time, you may start keeping track of how individual people, for example, got out. So for Young, why Young? Because he was stealing, the catcher most likely threw it to the second baseman, and the second baseman tagged him before he could get to the plate. So we would go back to our lists, and so we'll say that it went from 2, who had the ball, that would be the catcher, who threw it to 4, and that's where that out came from. Complicated, I know. Sorry. And so you can also write about who caught the ball. So, for example, when Dawson hit the ball, because he hit the ball and it just went straight to the shortstop and got out, we'll say that 6 caught the ball, right? But then remember that Brian Uppett also got out in that same play, and the reason is because 6 then threw the ball to the third baseman, who is 5, so 6-5, like that. It's a lot. I get it. It is going to be where we start, and this is why we want you doing this, because it's helpful to keep track of how a game is played. And so you'll see this video. I'll have a link to the Little League article on scorekeeping, which is has kind of a some written versions if you're more a written person than a video person. And then I'll also have a link to this particular scorecard up on the chat. So good luck. Let us know if you have any issues, and have fun watching.